Hi, this is Michael Gibbs. Is anybody here in the call so far? Please say something in the comment section. Can you all hear me? Good morning. This is Michael Gibbs from Go Cloud Architects. Okay, thank you so much, your worst nightmare, for letting me know. So today we're going to be releasing a video in 30 minutes, something I'm really excited about. It's going to be about how to set up a server, install a hypervisor, set up virtualization, and we're even going to configure a couple of virtual machines for you. We're going to do this because for cloud architects, it's important to know how all the infrastructure works, because it's kind of like having pasta for dinner. If I describe what pasta is, you might partially get it. But if you actually cook you pasta and you eat it, you're going to know forever. So we find that when people are actually learning the cloud, they find it a little bit challenging from time to time because they're learning the concepts of an EC2 instance, for example, but they actually have never created a virtualized server. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. But the purpose of this call right before the video is to ask any cloud computing questions you may have. So if anybody wants to know how to find a job, let me know. If anybody wants to know what kinds of things to study, let me know. If anybody's interested in learning about how to focus your career development plan, let me know. This is really an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you possibly have about how to build the ultimate cloud computing career, and I'll answer them real time. So who has the first question, and let me know how I can help you. Welcome, Rich. Welcome, Ian. So, Rich, do you have any questions so far? I see you're in the chat window about how to build your career, things to focus on, for example. Good morning, Theo. Your worst nightmare too. That is a fantastic question. So when you're asking which circumstances you actually have, and hi, Mohammed, I'll get your questions next. What is your ultimate goal? Your worst nightmare? And hi, Chidi, as well. Tell me what your ultimate goal job is. For example, are you interested in being a generic cloud architect where you do most things on the cloud? Are you interested in being an infrastructure architect where you do things more about how you build the cloud and how you design deeper cloud architectures? Are you interested in the security side? If you tell me what your goals are, I can help you with certifications. So your worst nightmare, what is your goal job on the cloud? You'd like to become a solutions architect infrastructure. Okay, that changes everything. So your worst nightmare, what is your starting point? Do you have any background in networking, any background in Linux? Do you already have any certifications? And welcome, Eric. I'm going to repeat that in case it was hard to hear you. Your worst nightmare, what is your background? Did you work in, for example, any type of networking jobs? Have you worked in Linux? I'm going to help build you a certification plan, but I just want to know your starting point because I don't want to recommend certifications that you may have actually had something. I have the practitioner cert and I have knowledge in Linux. Okay, so if you don't have a lot of experience, your worst nightmare, really, in order to get an infrastructure job, you're looking at knowledge of a few things. You're looking at knowledge of networking. For that, I typically like the CCNA because that'll give you some knowledge of how the network works. Remember, the cloud is nothing more than a network in a data center. I also like for people, if they have no experience, to have a minimum of one professional certification, like the Google Professional Cloud Architect or the AWS Certified Solution Architect Professional, because that's going to show, as a rule, that you have a little more depth. Plus, if you actually look for senior jobs at Amazon, for example, or other places, preferred qualifications always have the professional level certification. Why do I want you to have that? Because when you're applying for a job and you have less experience, I want you to have deeper certifications. So if you had a CCNA, for example, and then you had the professional cloud architect, and then you had maybe a Linux certification, you would also be in a great position. See, this is why I wanted to start your background. You worked in networking. How much background do you have in networking? Because that will change everything. Do you have 5 years? Are you familiar with OSPF, BGP? Do you know how to configure route policies? Do you route redistributions? I mean, what's your level of knowledge in 2 years experience? And what is that experience? Is it in design, implementation? Trying to figure out where that experience is. But if I don't know, let's say it's generic networking experience. By generic, I mean going into a router, putting an IP address on an interface, simple network statements like enabling certain things to subnets to be an OSPF. You're in implementation support. Okay, gotcha. So you're doing some troubleshooting and you're doing some implementation. So I'd still work on getting some deeper knowledge. And what I mean by that is, it's one thing to configure a router, enter config t interface, whatever, and an IP address no shut. And it's another thing to actually really work at understanding the levels. What is a type 1 LSA? When is a type 2 LSA? When is a type 3 LSA? Type 4, type 5, type 7? When it comes to BGP, how do you choose the path? Prefer the path with the largest weight, prefer the path with the largest local preference, those kind of things. If you know that, you are solid on networking. If you don't know that, on the networking side, I would bring up my level of BGP knowledge, specifically eBGP, and I would bring up my knowledge of the BGP decision algorithm. And that, I think, would be very helpful. Hi, Michelle. It's so good to see you join. So I would say that if you're not Cisco certified or Juniper certified, I would get one to make it look, to substantiate some of your networking knowledge. 2 years of implementation experience is really great. So I would say that. So for you, in your case, I would say get a Linux certification. Ideally, like an RHCE would be perfect. If you get a CCNA, get a Certified Solution Architect Professional, focus on your soft skills, focus on your executive presence. We have lots of free videos on how to do that, and you should be good to go. If you have the opportunity, one last thing, your worst nightmare, I generally recommend everybody start learning how to build a cloud. So today we're going to release a video at 10, and it's going to show you how to set up server virtualization. So I would say learn server virtualization, learn containers, build some proxy servers, build some firewalls, set up some virtual routers in your system, GNU3. There's lots of virtual simulators you can stick in a virtual machine or on your system. Give you some good networking knowledge. If you wanted to take the AWS Advanced Networking, it's always a good thing to show if you want to do infrastructure. I will tell you that AWS networking, advanced networking, is basic. It's about 3% of what a CCIE would be, but it does show that you know how to do networking. So that's what I would do. A Linux one, a Cisco one, the Certified Solution Architect Professional, and the AWS Advanced Networking, because you wanted to do something on the infrastructure side. So your worst nightmare, that's exactly what I would recommend for you. Do you have any questions, your worst nightmare, before I move on to the next question? Okay, so going through the list of people in order, Mohammed, I think you were the next question along the list. So Mohammed, what is your question, sir? And then after Mohammed, I know it looks like Jefferson and then Pravudi are next with questions. Mohammed? Mohammed, I can't hear you. I can with the Ustream on a Zoom meeting I can, but with the YouTube Live you have to type it in the box. Mohammed, could you type your question in the box? Okay, Mohammed. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the next question, and then I'm going to come right back to you. Hopefully, you'll be able to type your question in the box. So Jefferson, I see you have a question, and then so what is your question? Hi, hello there. I would like to get inside into a secure. On my computer is and yes, I will discuss executive presence in a few minutes. So let me. And I will also discuss AWS certification. But let me ask Jefferson's. So Jefferson, you would like to get inside the cloud security, got experience on on-premise security and networking. Great, but you have not participated in cloud projects. Okay, so Jefferson, how long have you been working in security? And do you have any security certifications like a CISSP or a CEH? Do you have any networking certifications? Or so how many years of experience and or any network or security questions? Could you answer that, please? Jefferson, if you can type in the box, I would love to answer your question. But if you could just let me know what type of experience you actually have in the security area and or any certifications, so we can build you a plan for a cloud security position. Okay, Jefferson? Okay. Well, it looks like Mohammed started to type an answer of having zero experience. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the easy question, which came from Naz, which says, you mentioned executive presence. What actually is that? So here's the thing with executive presence. Have you ever met someone and they walk in the room and nobody notices they're there? Or have you ever felt like you went to a crowded bar and you're standing there and you're trying to order a drink and no one ever looks at you? And then you notice somebody else that actually walks inside there into the bar and instantly people go there. Or have you ever noticed your manager walks into the room and everybody knows they're there? So executive presence is really when you walk in the room and everybody knows you're there. You look big, you look strong, you look powerful, you command respect, and then the world knows to listen to you. And if you see the CEO of a company, they have executive presence. If you see the leadership of the company, they have executive presence. I like to take those CEO type skills, the things that we come from executive coaching, and teach it to my architects. Why? Because when they go in a job interview and someone can see you and they can feel you and you feel larger than life and capable, they love to hire you. So that's the reason I tend to do that. So that's why executive presence is there. Plus, as a bonus, when we look at the statistics about people's careers, the biggest part of their success, especially when it comes to raises, promotions, and salaries, is actually emotional intelligence, soft skills, and executive presence. So developing those communication skills are so important, and that's why we focus on it. So now that's what executive presence is. Now, Jefferson started to give me some good detail. 3 years of experience in cybersecurity, excellent. Network security with firewalls, many IT certifications such as CCNA security, and that is fantastic. What are the other certifications? One of the things we hate to see is 1,000,001 associate level certifications, but the CCNA and the CCNA security is fantastic. So that's going to show that you have some networking knowledge and some network security knowledge, which is wonderful. So Jefferson, in your case, if you want to work on the cloud, especially if you don't have a big background, we'd like to see a certified solution architect professional. No big deal. That's not a complicated thing to do with good training. We like to see people have a deeper security certification. I prefer the CEH. I was a CISSP for many years. The CISSP is a great one. You could do the CEH, the CISSP, the Certified Solution Architect Professional, and then you should be in really good shape. You could always do the AWS Advanced Networking. I will tell you the AWS Advanced Networking is silly easy for a security professional. Why? Because Amazon does all the complicated things for you that we normally would do in a network or a data center. So make it easy. But we still need to know what those solutions are. So absolutely, that's something that we find to be absolutely critical. And so for you, get a deep security certification, get the Certified Solution Architect Professional, get the AWS Advanced Networking Security, and you should be good. Again, soft skills, communication skills, collaboration skills, that's what we recommend. And just like Nads is asking me, do I teach executive presence and leadership skills in our Cloud Architect Development Program? Absolutely. I would say we spend 50% of our time on that and the other 50% on developing technical competency. And we have to do that. Because you don't go in an interview and someone doesn't say, oh, this person's got 10 years experience. They're great. They say, well, this person has excellent soft skills. So if I was going to rank someone on a 0 to 100 scale, soft skills are 50%, executive presence, communication is 50. And then we can get the technical competency to 35 out of 50 or 40 out of 50 for someone with no experience. Then when we average our candidates, they come in around a 90 out of 100, which is better than most people with experience. So yes, we teach a lot of executive presence. We teach communication skills, collaboration skills, interviewing skills, and it's absolutely critical part of our program. So Jefferson, you know what I would do? The Certified Solution Architect Professional, I would get a deep security certification, and then maybe the AWS Advanced Networking. I wouldn't focus on a whole bunch of little small associate certifications. I'm looking to show depth of knowledge and expertise for you as opposed to breadth of knowledge, because most IT professionals know that you can only know a few things well. So after that, Mohammed, okay, so we got a couple questions here. So Mohammed says 0 experience. So I'm going to actually answer Rich's question and Mohammed's question. So Mohammed, what are your 5 certifications? So while I'm waiting to hear from about your 5 certifications, Mohammed, and I'm going to answer Jefferson's quick question. You're from Colombia. Is there a way to volunteer, collaborate, and get more experience? Absolutely. There is definitely a way to get some volunteering level experience. I typically I used to run a group of interns. I still have some, but there are many good internships. I actually created a video. I'm going to try and find it for you right now. And the video was talking about how to find an internship that would actually teach you the things that you need to know to be better in your career. Things to look for, things to work for. An intern does not mean someone that's free labor. An intern means, as an intern or as someone that's running an internship, I have to work really, really hard to make sure my interns get a lot of experience. I need to bring them up. I need to make them better. An internship where someone just makes you make YAML templates, for example, all day long, or just cutting and pasting, that is not an internship. That's free work. And yes, you might learn 2%, but if you're an internship, you should learn how to read, how to read technical documentation, write technical documentation, present to some degree, configure things, learn how they work. So for me, that's really an important component of an internship. Internships are wonderful, and I've run many of them, and many of my students have done extremely well. But the key with an internship is finding an internship that's actually going to help you. Okay, I found the link to the video where we talk about how to get an internship to help you get your first job, and I'm going to drop that link over here. That's how to get your internship. So, Mohammed, you said 5 certifications, and Rich asked a question at the same time. Microsoft certified, Azure Fundamentals, certified Azure Administrator. Now, Mohammed, do you have any certifications outside of the cloud? Okay, Certified Solutions Architect. Okay, good. SQL 2016, CompTIA Security. Okay, so the Microsoft Certified Solutions Architect is going to be fantastic for you, and the reason that's going to be fantastic is it's going to show that you know Windows systems. Love that. If you could get some kind of and Mohammed, did you want to be a cloud architect or a cloud security architect, or which version of the cloud? Mohammed, yes, I understand having a hard time finding a job. Actually, so many people are having a hard time finding a job. That's why we created the How to Get Your First Job program, by the outpouring of support. And the reason people are having a hard time getting a job is quite simply as follows. As it turns out, people like me were building the cloud before they called it the cloud. You know what we used to call it? We used to call it a network and a data center. And now the world is calling it the cloud. So why do these organizations want to hire people with all this experience? They don't need experience. They need competency. And it is like near impossible. You can get all 12 AWS certifications and still have 0 knowledge of cloud computing. So, and I've seen this all the time. If I ever interview a 10x AWS certified, I couldn't employ them for anything, because they know a little bit about a lot of things, but they don't know deep enough about anything. And that's sad. So Mohammed, if you're working on the Certified Solution Architect Associate, that's great. After that, I would recommend getting the Certified Solution Architect Professional. To do generic cloud architect work, you got a lot of good stuff on your resume. You got the SQL, which it means you're going to understand some databases. You've got the CompTIA Security. It's very light, but it still means you've got some security principles. You've got the Azure certification, which is fantastic. I would jump straight into the Certified Solution Architect Associate, immediately take the Certified Solution Architect Professional. If you could get a Linux certification, you would be great. And like Rich said, how do you show experience? I would build a lab. I would buy a refurbished server. You can get a good one. For example, I have 3 of them. I have 3 24-core 128 gig of RAM servers. And in these servers, which I recommend for everyone, you set up virtualization, you set up PCI pass-through and virtualization, which is how you'd set up a GPU optimized instance. It's also how you would set up single root IO virtualization or AWS high performance networking. I would set up a proxy server. I would set up a firewall. I would set up containers. You know what? I would even build an OpenStack Ansible cloud. And then I'd connect that cloud to Azure, GCP, AWS. And I'd put a research and development section on your resume. And I would talk about every one of these projects that you did so you could show some kind of knowledge. And with our students, we work out with ways to show them. But definitely just start learning the cloud. I mean, cloud certification does not teach the cloud. It teaches you the services offered by the vendor. But what I'm talking about, and I've got a video on how to get cloud job experience at home. Watch that video, guys. It will teach you all the things that you can do at your house to learn how the cloud actually works. You can, part of it will even teach you, recommend building your own cloud. Why am I so big on doing these things? Because when you have this kind of knowledge and you walk into a job interview and someone says, what do you know? And you say, I've built my own cloud. And somebody else goes, I can configure an EC2 instance. Who's better? So that's why I'm there. I just, your worst nightmare, I just posted the video on how to get your cloud experience job at home. So people that take our program will work with us. We have a cloud architect lab. We make our people do virtualization, cloud computing. So all of our students get to do all these things. And today, for everybody that doesn't know, we are releasing a virtualization video. We are going to take one of these bare metal servers that I have, install a hypervisor, set up our virtual machines, and we are going to make it go live. And we'll release that video in about 30 minutes. And after this, every one of you can take a computer, install a hypervisor, which you can get for free as a trial software, install as many virtual machines as you want, make a Windows machine, make a Linux machine, make a Kali Linux machine, hack into your systems, and then learn how to secure them. This is why we love the cloud. And this is why we look at it. So William Wallace, what a great name. And then I see Neo John. So William Wallace, if you were making a change to how do you choose which version, security, network, or generic? Well, William, I'd say it's passion. What do you like and why do you like it? And the reason I say this is multifold. Like for me, I hate the code. I think code is torture. I mean, really torture. I mean, prior to the days where I shattered my foot and struggled to walk, I would rather walk 40 kilometers with a 100-kilometer pack on my back than try and code. It would be much more relaxing to me. I'd prefer to do it all day long. Having said all of that, I found ways to work in networking, to work in data center, to work in security, never could. So William Wallace, if you're deciding to make a change to IT, which do you choose? Generally speaking, I would probably pick something that's a little more specialized right now. I would probably pick security. The reason I would probably pick security is the more systems that get placed on the network, the more things that are likely to be hacked and the greater privacy and security would be. So if you focus on security now, I think you're focusing on a growing field. The infrastructure field is great, but 90% of the work is done by the cloud providers. So people like me that have 10,000 plus hours of just BGP experience, we don't need, for the most part, unless we're building the clouds for Amazon, and many of my peers are, that I went to school with and trained with. But unless that's the situation, I'd say security is probably the best place. But pick something that you love, because if you love it, you'll enjoy it. And like Mark Twain said, make your vacation your vocation, and you'll never work a day in your life. I've been in tech for 25 years. I don't know if I've ever worked. Everything I've done, I've loved. Now, that's because I avoided things that I hated and I focused on my strengths and the things that I'm good at. So William Wallace, fantastic name. And I've seen that statue, I think was it in Glasgow or was it in Edinburgh? I saw this beautiful William Wallace statue too. So I think it was Edinburgh. And but anyway, that's what I would do if I was you. Neo John, you're having 10 years experience in storage backup administration. With the recent market trends, you're thinking of switching into cloud computing. Okay, makes sense. Please advise what area to focus my study under certifications and how you can get into the cloud job portfolio, how to find an internship practical experience work. Fantastic question. 10 years in storage and backup. Wow, that's great. So let's say you wanted to move to the cloud. What is the cloud? This is where everybody gets confused and this is where everybody gets overwhelmed. The cloud is a network and a data center, and that is it. So, by knowing how a network and a data center works, you know how the cloud works. So what is the data center we're talking about? It's servers, it's storage, and it's that network stuff. Routers, switches, load balancers. So if you already know storage, that is fantastic. In your particular case, if you could become the certified solution architect professional and you were to do that, then that will give you some depth of knowledge. You've got storage. I'm assuming with 10 years of storage, you're familiar with all the iSCSI protocols. You're familiar with the difference between NFS-related mounts. You're pretty strong on object storage versus block storage versus file storage, why you would use them and how all these things work. And if that's the case, you should be in great shape. I'd get a little networking knowledge, maybe a CCNA. I would get a little Linux knowledge if you don't have it, and maybe a little Linux certification, a certified solution architect professional. And with that kind of storage and backup knowledge, a little light networking, one professional certification, and a little Linux, you look like the perfect hire. So you're actually in good shape. That's what I would do for you. Now, Guido, I will definitely suggest, and Kapil, course is costly, you're not getting a sense of it. Actually, in this course, today's discussion, I wasn't really talking about our Cloud Architect Development Program. We do talk about that in our free webinars. This was purely a question and answer session. I will say this, Kapil, since you asked a question, our Cloud Architect Development Program is incredibly cheap for what it is. I used to pay $400 an hour to have an executive coach me. I also spent a fortune on an MBA program. And similar courses like this are between $5,000 and $10,000. The reason I put a course together like this and I did it so cheaply is twofold. I saw so many great cloud architects or future cloud architects, so many smart people that took all these AWS exams and were sold into the concept by vendors that to just get AWS certified and you'll get hired. And unfortunately, that's not the case unless you're somebody like me that has a ton of experience. So what I did is I basically said the average cloud architect earns $579 per day in the US. A good one earns $700 a day. And I priced my program assuming if I can get someone a job 2 days earlier, they already made money on my program. And if I can get someone a job 3 months earlier, they could potentially earn $40 additional thousand that year. And if my coaching raises their level of executive presence and raises their communication skills and raises the way they can impress the manager, they could earn $10,000 to $50,000 more per year. So yes, my $1,000 course, which I'm offering a 25% intro special to, which is $750, should be able to be paid for if I can teach someone how to get a job 1 day earlier by optimizing their things. So it's pretty cheap for what it is. This is not a forum to actually talk about my program, but you asked a question, so I wanted to answer it. So I'll just leave it at that. And Mohammed, I'm very happy to give you advice. That's what we do. If you guys tell me this is a really good idea, I might actually do a free live stream every Wednesday, long before we do our YouTube video release. If you like that, let me know in the comment section below, and I will start scheduling more of these free consult sessions. So who else has questions? Guido. Okay, can I suggest any home lab projects? Yes. Guido, I just dropped a video on that, and it's basically, and you can see it above, it's I'll just cut and paste it again. This video is all about getting cloud architect experience at home. And Chidi, please do so, sir. Sounds good. You're the first person. If I get enough people that ask me to make a constant once a week YouTube live video, I am happy to do it. If the quality of this video stream is great, good enough, great. If it is not, we have a professional set of photography, videography things. I can actually get a different level of grade of video encoders and actually raise the level. Is this a good enough level of live stream? Is the video quality good enough? Is the audio quality good enough? Could you guys let me know in the comment section? Somebody let me know. I know okay, Mohammed, it's great. Chetty, this fine. Perfect. Thank you guys for letting me know. So I think there was one question that I don't remember, and it was from Tyrone. So Tyrone says, I am a systems engineer, server infrastructure in a large enterprise. Excellent. VMware, MS servers, MS and Linux. Awesome. And I'm choosing the path of cloud computing. What area and focus should I focus my study? So Tyrone, the question I have for you is, are you happy right now working with servers and things like that? If the answer is yes, I will pick something for you. Eric, thank you for letting me know. Ian, thank you for letting me know. Raul, thank you for letting me know. So that the quality is okay. So if you can you answer that question for me, and then I can give you much better advice. Tyrone, are you actually happy with the types of things that you're doing and just want to move to the cloud? Please let me know in the comment section, because I won't be able to hear you otherwise. You're no longer happy. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. Do you know what it is you don't like? Is it the work environment? Is it the tech that you're working with? Because your tech background is fantastic, but if it's not making you happy, I don't want to pick a cloud thing that's going to be the same thing for you. I can recommend something based upon your goals, dreams, and happiness. And that's really what I want to do. So could you tell me, Tyrone, if it's that you're unhappy with a daily job, or is that you just had enough of dealing with Windows things and servers and that? Work environment. Okay, good. As long as you're happy with the technology you're working with the work environment, you are in a great place. So let me go back to your question. How many years of experience do you have as a systems engineer? Because that is a great background. Let me know how many years experience, Tyrone, and or any certifications that you have. 7 years experience. Okay, great. Any certifications? I'm more concerned about your background and knowledge than your certifications, but VM and MS certs. Okay, wonderful, Tyrone. So for you to migrate to the cloud, it's going to be relatively easy because you already know all the data center technologies. So what I would say in your particular case, Certified Solution Architect Professional is the certification you need. We actually have a book. You could actually use that to prepare for the exam. You could probably go straight into the Certified Solution Architect Professional. Our book's like super, super cheap. And it could probably be more than you need to actually just pass the exam. That plus a practice test, if you've got that much depth of knowledge. Often we recommend people start with a Certified Solution Architect Associate. And the reason we do that is it gives them a chance to have a fundamental knowledge. But if you've got 7 years working on these systems and virtualization, you may be able to go straight to the Certified Solution Architect Professional. I will tell you that I did a professional certification long before I did an associate certification, just because I knew that much about the industry. So you could do the associate and or professional as a first step. And then from there, I think you should be in good shape. If I wanted to migrate someone with 7 years of experience to the cloud, I would typically have them get a professional level certification on maybe one platform and possibly a second. You would look really good if you had an Azure level professional certification and an AWS professional certification, because it would tie your package together. You've got all this system and server background and data center background, 2 professional cloud certs. You would be the ultimate cloud architect hire for a generic cloud architect role, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a different kind of role, like a security, let me know. But for a generic cloud architect role, you would be perfect with just 2 professional certifications, like a GCP and an AWS CSAP, or because you've got such a good Microsoft background, a Microsoft Azure one and an Amazon one, you will be solid. You should have no problem getting a job as long as your soft skills are good, your communication skills are good, your executive presence is good. And if they're not good, you can possibly still get your job easily, but the salary would be much different. So we typically recommend that kind of training for everyone that applies. Tyrone, did you have any more questions? Oh, great, Tyrone. I'm glad I was able to answer your questions. So, X-Dude in, kindly tell us if traditional IT hardware, Dell, HP, are needed to focus for cloud architects, because there seems to be some industry understanding that the future is hybrid. Well, I will tell you that I believe that the future is hybrid / multi-cloud. And Because I believe the future is hybrid slash multi-cloud. I would think that anybody that I think knowing how the traditional data center works is important. But more importantly, I think understanding how the network and the data center works is the most important thing for any cloud architect. In fact, in our training and career development programs, we have everybody get to the server level. We have them set up a hypervisor, which lots of you guys know how to do, but not everybody. We set up virtual machines, we set up containers, we even set up OpenStack clouds. Why do we do this? Because if you can build a cloud from scratch, you learn the entire component in a global holistic perspective of what is cloud computing. Now compare that to someone that's taken a learn by doing course where they get a 4-minute lecture on virtualization and then they get to configure an EC2 instance. That training is unfortunately worthless for getting a job. Great for passing an exam, but worthless for getting a job. So if you don't have the data center background, we recommend you get it. Now, people like Tyrone have the data center background, so they don't need to build these labs. But for people that are in their house, we recommend they set up these kind of labs. Like I said, I dropped the link to the video on how to get cloud architect experience in your home. Any of the students that are in our cloud architect career development either have access to their own servers or they have access to our private cloud that we built for people to do anything they need from the data center perspective. We had 1 server, now we have 3. We have getting some more. We have 72 cores and a half a terabyte of RAM already up and running in our cloud with lots of good storage arrays. So people get to do a lot of cool stuff. But the point is get your lab experience somewhere. Real cloud architect experience, data center experience. So when you put that on your resume under a research and development section, you look differently. Okay. Nikhil, I finished the AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate, good, and the Azure Fundamentals, great. I am starting my career off in MNC. I don't know what MNC is, if you could enlighten me there. And want to become a cloud architect. How do you proceed? If you could tell me what you mean by MNC, sir, I will, or ma'am, I will definitely answer your question. You're welcome, ex-dude. What a cool name. Multinational company. Okay, so a couple things that I would advise people. In general, we advise our students to be as clear as possible and use as little industry jargon as possible because we really want to enhance the effectiveness of someone's communication. So one of the things that gets in the way of everybody's communication is when there's too many acronyms and things. So you did something that's totally done and appropriate. So I don't want you to think otherwise, but my job as a coach is to get people better in every way, whether it's communication, collaboration, interviews, or tech. And for that, I'm going to say, fine. So you work. So I'd say try to do that. So if you're working for a multinational company, and that's great, I would say that, let me go back to your question. You just finished the Azure and you want to become a cloud architect. Okay, so that tells me something of the type of experience that you have and where you want to go. So the experience in the multinational company is really great because that's going to show a lot of things. First, when you're desired by a multinational company, it makes all the other organizations think highly of you. It's kind of like having a Harvard or a Yale or a Columbia or a Cambridge or an Oxford stamp on your resume. It looks good. So that's definitely in your way. But you want to become a cloud architect. So Nikhil, what did you do for this multinational company? What's your role? What's your experience? And what certifications do you have? And then I can happily guide you. Nikhil, if you could let me know what you're doing, I will happily guide you. I just don't know what you've done at this company. I mean, I don't know if you were a manager. I don't know if you were working in telco, network, firewall, security, or sales. You're a full stack developer and it's only been 3 months. Okay, good. So you're fresh out of school, which means you've got no bad habits. People love that. With no bad habits comes lack of experience, but no bad habits is awesome too, and lots of employers love that. So you're a full stack developer. Excellent. Now, Nikhil, what is it you want to do? Do you like being on the development side, like or development or DevOps, because you could do all the development things on the cloud, you could do DevOps things on the cloud, or do you find things more other things more interesting? like the network, the data center, that sort of thing. If you can tell me exactly what you want to do, then I can help you build a plan. But I just want to know where you want to be, because we're going to focus your training, certifications, and labs based upon that. You like DevOps. Okay, wonderful. Nikhil, what I would do if I was you, keep working in the job you're doing right now. I would focus on getting 2 certifications. I would get the AWS Certified Solution Architect Professional, and I would get the DevOps, AWS DevOps specialty course that Amazon's offering at the highest level they offer. And they would be the 2 things that I would focus on. Since you have the ability to be a full stack, since you are a full stack developer and you know it, if you don't know how to use Python or code in Python, which you probably do, I would learn Python, because that can be very helpful for automation and a lot of things that are done on the cloud. I would be really familiar with things that are probably pretty easy for you, like understand just how the CloudFormation templates work, and understand, how to write a YAML template for a container or things like that. Even though you're probably going to be doing more DevOps, I would just say learn those kind of things to make you more well-rounded on the cloud, and then focus on DevOps, and you're going to be in great shape. So a professional exam, a DevOps exam, you're already working as a full stack developer. The professional will show you know how to use cloud services, and the DevOps will be perfect. If you're wondering why I'm not recommending deep infrastructure knowledge here like I would for other people, it's because in the DevOps environment, you're not going to get that close to the hardware. And I want to focus your training on exactly your career goals. So that's realistically what I would do. But Nikhil, I would focus 50% of my time, like I recommend for everyone, on communication, collaboration, executive presence, literally anything that's necessary to assist you in your career. So 50% of you is related to your soft skills and executive presence, communication, interviewing skills. So focus on that and you will do wonderfully. So do you have any more questions, Nikhil, before I proceed to the next person? Thank you so much, Nikhil. I really appreciate your kind words. So I think we have a Sudipo who said hello. So if you have any questions, and then we also have Vishal's questions. So Sudipo, you put your thing down first. So you have 11 years experience in mainframe development. Wow, I've worked on a lot of mainframes in my life too. And you want to move to AWS Solution Architect. What should you do? So, and Ashok, yes, this session will definitely be recorded and you'll be able to watch it on our channel. So, and Paul, we'll get to your question in a moment. And Ashok, thank you so much for your kind words. So I'm gonna do this once a week, every Wednesday prior to releasing our new YouTube video too. And we've got a great YouTube video I hope everybody can watch after this. It's going to be about virtualization, a critical thing to know for all cloud people. So Vishal, you have 11 years experience. What kind of mainframe development? And are you working on modern mainframes? Or are you working on the kind of mainframes that I worked on, which had SNA traffic that we had to do funny things to bridge on what do you call it? On bridge over an IP network? So Sudipo, what have you done on the mainframes for the last 11 years? Sudipo, if you let me know in the comment section below, I can answer your question. Insurance and banking projects. Okay, but what did you do? Was it application development? Was it integration? Or was it all of it? I'm just trying to find the actual part of the tech background. Application development. Excellent. Now, Sudipo, I am not a developer, but I can definitely guide you. Were you using modern software languages with this application development, things that would be relevant in today's world, or was it more specific to the banking world? If so, that's okay. We can just, you've done a course on Python. So it's not modern certificate. It's not modern programming languages. If I understand you correctly, it's more on what you're doing now. Do you enjoy being in development? Would you like to do something different on the cloud? You like being in development. Excellent. Okay. So you're in a bit of a tricky position, but at the same time, you've got lots of good experience. And then funny, I will tell you why the developer role would ask you about TCP versus UDP in a moment. And your worst nightmare is age an issue. It shouldn't be an issue in most cases. And so in your case, because you've got lots of experience coding, that's really great. The fact that you've been working on mainframes, which basically means big global industries, the AIGs of the world typically use them, or any big insurance company like a Lloyd's of London, all these giant insurance companies have mainframes still. All the big banks have them too. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to actually show that not only do you have lots of experience, but that experience is transferable to the new world. This is one of the things I focus heavily on our Cloud Architect Career Development Program, which I didn't want to talk about here. And it's basically about taking your current experience and translating it to the experience. There are certain things that you have a lot of experience with working on mainframes that you need to be able to communicate to the hiring manager. You've been coding in an old language, which means that it's hard sometimes. It's not like to do things because you're in a world, and it's not like there's 1,000,001 people you can just ask questions to, because you're a very specialized thing, which means in order to do that, you have to have what I call depth of knowledge. It's the exact opposite of the 10x AWS certified that makes a course on advanced networking, and it's like, welcome to intro to junior level something. You've got a lot of experience. So you need to show that you know how to find answers to things quickly, that you know how to really read and look for instructions, that you know how to work with legacy technologies and new technologies, that you can you meet with a customer and you can find out their business requirements, their technology requirements, their legal requirements, and you can translate that to an architecture, because whether it's a software architecture or a cloud architecture, it's really the same. So for you, you're going to need that. Now, Sudeepa, I'm going to have to tell you that you're probably going to need to fight a little harder. You're going to need a certified solution architect professional job, a certification. You probably want to have a DevOps certification. You may also need a little bit of infrastructure knowledge, which you would get in the certified solution architect professional. If you don't have a strong TCP/IP background, and many of the people from the mainframe world don't, and some do, it depends on whether you're using the SNA data or whether you're working on IP. If it's time that you spent with SNA data, I would probably, and where we used to have to bridge with data link switching plus, but if you've got a lot of background on that, I'd probably get some modern networking thing a little bit too, like maybe a light CCNA. I'm being extra cautious with you because you have incredible amounts of valuable experience. And but at the same time, we need to translate it. So watch my video on there's no such thing called as no experience. And I'll drop a link to that. And I created this, and I initially created this video when I left practicing medicine as a nurse practitioner in internal medicine 20 some years ago. I needed to show people that my experience really mattered, and that my experience of asking patients what's wrong and being able to come up with a treatment plan was really no different than asking a client, like, what are your business needs? What are your goals? And let me design an architecture for you. One case, I assessed the patient, asked them questions. In another case, I asked a bunch of I asked the CEO, the CTO, the CIO, what do you need in your design? In medicine, I made a plan, which was a prescription. In cloud architect world, I made them a network design and an architecture design. It's the same thing. So lots of your life experience is still relevant. So practice, 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 making sure that you actually have the ability to translate your past experience into something that's relevant. And this video I made specifically for this. Show how your experience matters. And every one of us has some unique experience. We could have a soldier or a warrior, and that warrior basically has lots of mental toughness, mental discipline. They can stay engaged, no matter how tired they are or how hard they work. That really is good. They can work in a team. All employers like teams, for example. So they can take direction. Employers like people that can take direction. So all I'm saying is basically look at your life experience and translate that to things that the hiring manager wants. Now, tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern, which will be 5 p.m. GMT, which will also be 6 o'clock Central European time, we are going to have our How to Get Your First Cloud Architect Job webinar. I'm going to drop the link to that. We will teach you how to show your experience, how to make your experience known, the things that the hiring manager wants to hear. Because if the hiring manager wants to hear it, and you can be the ideal hiring manager's dream, not only can you get hired, but you can get hired for a higher salary. And I'm going to have a 2-hour free Zoom call tomorrow, and I will definitely tell you that it will be a great experience for everyone that's there. I have gotten such good feedback from the people that are there. So anyone that wants to learn what a hiring manager desires and how to be the hiring manager's ideal employee and what we mean by depth of knowledge, please definitely join this. And it will be tomorrow. I've dropped the link to it right now. And I strongly suggest anybody that's not been there, be there. Okay, so I'm going through the questions that are there. Eric, nightmare being a big concern. I'm going to be 51 this month. Eric, I'm 47. Don't worry about it. As a rule, when we're younger, what people actually like is that we're typically energetic and enthusiasm when we learn click. As we're older, we have lots of experience, which can also be valuable. What I think you actually need to do as an older person like me going into the interview is show energy, show enthusiasm, show better soft skills, show that you're better, that all that experience made you better, and you will get hired for much more. The key is being able to still show passion and energy, enthusiasm. Where people get trouble is if they're an older kind of, they're like, how are you today? Yeah. Good to see you. I've done that. They don't want to say. Hi, I'm Mike Gibbs. I've been working in tech for 20 years. I've had the opportunity to work in networking, data center, cloud computing, and I love this. See the difference? I need you to be that energetic, enthusiastic person because that's what managers want. You can look up Jack Welch's 4 E's of management: energy, enthusiasm. Energizer is someone that makes people energetic around them, raises the energy of the room. And of course, what he calls edge, which is competitiveness. They want to know that you want to fight to be the best you can. And that's what I want you to all do. William, I am so grateful for your kind words. So thank you so much. And William, if you feel that way, or anybody feels that way, if you can leave a like and/or subscribe to my channel, I hate to even ask it, but we're trying to produce as much free training as we can, and the algorithms work that if we've got likes and comments, subscribe. So if you guys can do that, it helps out. It enables us to make more free training for you. So, and enables our training to be seen by more people. So, Eric, did I answer your question before moving on to the next? And Ian, yes, Ian, you got a heck of a background. I know we've spoken. I'm expecting some incredibly great and exciting things from you. And thank you, William. And yeah, your age, my age, I think it's an asset because it shows we've got lots of experience. Just make sure you've got that energy, enthusiasm, exuberance. Make sure that you let the world know that you are ready and you are prepared, that you want to go in and you want to make that manager's life better. So one thing that I will say is I love using social media to get a job. It is fantastic. Where else can you go to a group that's got 100,000 people in there and can you post a message? Great. Now, while we're talking about careers, I'm going to give you some really valuable career advice. Never, ever on social media say, I've been rejected, and I've been rejected again. Please hire me. Why? So humans are funny people. We have the concept of psychology. We want things that are in short supply. We want things that others want. So we only want things that we perceive as desirable. And how do we as humans perceive it as desirable? Often because everybody else wants that same thing. People like gold, gold's expensive. People like diamonds, diamonds expensive. People like Bitcoin, Bitcoin expensive. People like a brand of shoes that are probably no better than any other brand of shoes. They'll pay an incredible amount of money for it. So we know this. So what would I like people to do? I'd like people to go out on social media and still use it to find a job. I'd like people, like I'd worked with some people here, and I just basically said, okay, these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses. So what I actually like people to do is I like people to say, hi, I've been a full stack developer for 10 years. I'm AWS certified here, here, and here. I can help you I can help you make your organization more efficient. I can help you do more projects. I am enthusiastic. I'm ready to help you do your job better. Now you sold yourself to the hiring manager. In one case, you lowered your value by looking rejected from everyone. And in the other case, you went out there and you said, everybody, look at the things that I can do for you. So in other words, just remember the principle of scarcity. And if you want to learn more, you can look up Robert Cialdini. He did all the work on persuasion and scarcity and value. So that would be something I would recommend. So Paul Ellis, you accidentally deleted your previous post. You've been managing infrastructure and projects for 20 years. Wow, great. On-prem and data center, network server, etc. You've received your AWS CSA. What's the best way to get my first cloud architect? So you said managing infrastructure projects. Does that mean you did them? Were you a hiring manager or were you a project manager, Paul? Paul, you're project manager. Okay, so would you like to stay? It looks like you'd like to stay managing projects on the cloud, because if so, that's fine. Okay. So, Paul, what I would do if I wanted to continue to work as a project manager or a program manager, I'm assuming you have a project manager certification of some kind. I mean, you may not need it after 20 years, but if you have a PMP or something like that, it's actually good. Not sure, maybe start architect. Okay. So, Paul, I would see a couple of options for you. Oh, you have PMP CSM. Okay, excellent. If you wanted to do technical project management in the cloud, very easy. You already have a perfect resume. I would still get the Certified Solution Architect Professional, because it really does show a big difference over the Certified Solution Architect Associate. And I think that would be good. And if you wanted to start working as a cloud architect, you're going to have to do a couple of things. You're going to actually have to get some good technology certifications / background, because people are going to see you as someone that knows how to manage the project, but not necessarily someone that's in the position to actually do the technical work. So in that case, you're probably going to need some kind of basic Linux certification. You're going to need the Certified Solution Architect Professional. You probably would be well with like a CCNA or something to show some networking. And then you could take your 20 years of experience as a program manager and you could say, I'm network certified, Linux certified, I'm cloud certified at the professional level, and I've been managing projects for 20 plus years. During this time, I've had the opportunity to learn about networking, firewall, data center, security. Not only did you manage things, you had an opportunity to get your hands dirty, and then someone like you would be perfect for one of my programs, like the Cloud Architect Career Development Program. We could actually fill in the gaps for you, where we could talk about where you'd learn how to build your own clouds, you'd learn how to depth, you'd be able to learn how to discuss all the technologies in depth. You would do something great with that. I highly recommend you take my free webinar tomorrow, where we're going to talk about how to transition people into different roles. You would be absolutely perfect for that. So I dropped the link to our free webinar. We're having one tomorrow at noon. We're also having another one on Monday morning at 9 a.m. It's going to be a 2+ hour discussion. I'm going to do 60 minutes of presentations where we're going to talk about what hiring managers want, all the things to do to become a great hiring manager. To be the perfect candidate, and then we're going to ask questions and we do a lot of questions. Paul, how valuable is the AWS security certification? It depends if you have security knowledge or not. So the AWS security certification and the network certification are silly easy compared to the deeper knowledges like a CISSP or a CEH. I will tell you that these certifications cover 2 to 3% of what a security professional would know. So I will also tell you, Paul, that if you wanted to do cloud security, I would have a totally different path for you. If you wanted to do cloud security, I would say get a CEH or a CISSP, do the Certified Solution Architect Professional, and do the AWS Advanced Security, and that should be a really good plan. Why that plan? Because the CISSP or the CEH, these are deep, deep technical certifications. And I would recommend the CEH is probably a better one to start with, because it actually teaches you how to hack. And if you can hack, You've got the professional, and then you've got this little lightweight AWS advanced networking special or advanced security option. It shows that you know how to configure security options on the cloud. And if you know how to configure security options on the cloud, then you'll be in a much better place to do things. So I highly recommend that if you want to do security, but I don't really know what your goals are. So Paul, if you want to tell me your goals, I can build you an actual plan. I gave you one for a generic cloud architect. I gave you one for a security architect, but if you want to do something different, you let me know. Okay, Paul, before I move on, do you have any other questions? Paul, managing cloud projects seems like a really good thing to do with your background. That's what I'd probably advise you to do. Attend the call tomorrow and we can talk about that in a lot more depth, and you can ask live questions too. So, Saurav Roy, does the PMP and the Six Sigma help at all in achieving a cloud architect role? It depends what you want to do on the cloud. If you want to manage projects on the cloud, yes, absolutely. It'll be a huge help for you. If you want to work as a cloud architect on the cloud, it's going to be one of what I call an ancillary cert. If you can actually translate your experience of managing projects and being able to find access to resources and learning how things work from your past experience, it will help you. Otherwise, and there's lots of things in project management that would really help you being a cloud architect. You're meeting with customers, you're making sure that things get delivered on time and on budget. Excellent. So there's an incredible number of great things that come from being online as a PM, but they're not really related to being a cloud architect. So you could basically say taking customer requirements, meeting with customers, and helping deliver things on time and budget, managing with people, which you could show some soft skills, bringing out the best in the team, great, dealing with conflict resolution, great. All those things are incredibly valuable to the cloud architect career. You just need to be in a position, Saurav, that you can, or Saurav, that you can explain those things and draw the correlation to the project manager. But if you want to work as a pure cloud architect, you're still going to need to get that deep cloud knowledge. So that's going to mean the data center knowledge. That's going to mean the network knowledge. And we've got lots of videos on our YouTube channel about how to get some of these experiences at home. We have an enormously comprehensive program where we basically have a 16-week program where we take people from basically, they could have all 12 AWS certifications, and by the end of the 16-week, they're actually going to know the cloud. They have no certifications. We can still teach them the cloud too. It doesn't really matter. We assume people that have lots of certifications, we always give them a quiz. And when we find out that they typically don't know anything, I start them back from the beginning. Not that I don't value the certifications. It's great. It's part of the package. But on an interview, I'm going to ask you questions. And if I ask you what Amazon S3 is, and you can't tell me what object storage is and how object storage works, what's special about object storage with metadata, long before, and why you would use it, long before you would start talking about the 4 tiers and how they work and why you would use intelligent tiering and performance levels and use cases. If you can't put all that in, you're kind of unhireable. So I know that because I've interviewed thousands of people. I've spoken to hiring managers. I've spoken to more executive recruiters than I can count, and I know what employers want. So I will tell you that the best advice I can give people is be able to know 3 technologies, 3 of them, and know them well. Be able to describe them at a moment's notice, and in 5 minutes, be able to really wow people and impress people with your strong knowledge. That's what I want you to do. And I also want you to be able to tell people, have an answer to the tell me about yourself, and I also want you to have a good knowledge of your strengths and weaknesses. Those 5 questions are the difference between getting hired and not getting hired, probably 30% of the time. So some extra free guidance on how to manage your career. Saurav, did you have any other questions? Okay, I was planning on doing a 30-minute live stream prior to the kickoff of our video. As it turned out, we went longer, and I'm always happy to stay longer whenever I can if there's questions. So does anybody have any more questions for me? And then I'm going to drop a link to something that I think is going to be very helpful to all of your cloud architect careers. It's something that that I'm super excited about, a video that I want everybody to see, and I think it will really, really, really help all of you in your careers. And this video is about virtualization, so I'm going to release it right now, and I'd love you all to watch it. Here is the link to the video. This is an absolutely critical skill for any cloud architect. And then, okay, I see another question from Rondre Reed. You have 5 years of VMware experience. You have 2 years of VMware Search Data Center and NSX, excellent. AWS Associate and Azure, great, but not much enterprise experience. How do you go get an AWS job? Well, are you looking to work with AWS, or are you looking to work in cloud computing where you could be working in a cloud computing environment? Could you let me know that? Sure, you're welcome, mate. And you're working, okay. You're looking for a cloud computing job, but doing what in cloud computing? Networking, security, generic cloud work. Do you have a preference, Rondre? Infrastructure management. Okay, good. So you've got some VMware knowledge. That's fantastic. I'm assuming you have a good understanding of all kinds of virtualization, all kinds of containers, PCI pass-through, tuning it, maybe some virtualized networking. If you have that, that's really fantastic. I would still like to see you get a network certification like a Cisco Certified Network Associate and or Cisco Certified Network Professional if you have the desire. If you wanted to do infrastructure and you could do the Cisco Certified Network Professional and you've got that really strong VMware background and you get certified as a solution architect professional, you should be in really great shape. Really, really, really great shape. And then start doing the kind of labs, and I put in a lot of labs. You could obviously do our program, and in our program, you would learn a tremendous amount in terms of cloud computing and other things. You have a CCNA and a Linux cert. Rondre, you're already in such a great position. So for you, get a professional level certification, ideally, in cloud computing, like in the AWS Certified Solution Architect Professional. I'd love to see you upgrade your CCNA to a CCNP. And if you want to know why I'm talking about CCNP level networking, here's the reason. So in the cloud, the networking is silly easy. But when you actually look at an AWS job advertisement, they're looking for like 10 years of experience. Why? Nobody cares about experience, they care about competency. I would prefer to hire a technically competent person with zero experience because they have no bad habits, and many hiring managers feel the same way. But I need somebody that can do the job. And doing the job is so critical to me because it's hard to find someone that knows how to do their job. So I look for that. Now, because the cloud is nothing more than a network and a data center, and you just told me you want to do infrastructure. What is infrastructure? Infrastructure is network and data center. And the cloud infrastructure architects will do good degrees of routing and switching. They could be setting up MPLS for the backbone of these organizations. They could be setting up RSVP signal MPLS tunnels, Ethernet over MPLS. They could be doing lots of BGP routing. What they talk about in the AWS Certified Solution Architect Professional and the AWS Advanced Networking is nothing when it comes to networking. I have a friend that's working for AWS, and he's busy thinking about where they can put up the next location. And he's working deep, 24 hours a day almost, trying to do research on the best networking thing. So if you want to do cloud infrastructure, you've got to know networking. And the CCIE friends of mine get jobs without even trying. They just apply for a cloud architect job and they instantly get it. I did my CCIE 20 years ago. I will tell you that the networking knowledge, the Linux knowledge, the VMware knowledge, that makes the ultimate cloud infrastructure architect. So that's why I'm trying to do that. That's why I'm making these recommendations for you, because you mentioned cloud infrastructure. Did I answer your question, Rondre? Okay, so Andre, if I didn't answer your question, so then, okay, yes, thank you. Okay, perfect. So the next question was there from William Wallace. What's the duration of the course that I'm offering? We have an AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate course, which is not the one I'm talking about. It's different than every other course that's out there. The average course is 5 minutes of lectures and 20 minutes of labs. We have 10 plus hours of lectures in our course just to make sure people understand how stuff works. That's not what I'm talking about. I do give that for free to everybody that takes advantage of our cloud career development program, because I want people to get depth. I also give them our certified solution architect professional book when they take our course too, because that's the lowest level of actually training that we'd even be talking about. We get into some deep cloud computing context. So you asked how long our training course is. It's actually designed to be 16 weeks. Each week there's 30 minutes to 3 hours of videos. There are a lot of homework assignments. There's lots of labs. We have people that'll stick around for 6 months, 8 months, a year if they need. That's fine. They can stay on all the group coaching calls they want. On Monday, we have a certified solution architect associate call where we do things related to that. Every Friday, we have a 2-hour call, and we work on people's careers. We work on their resumes. We work on the presentation skills. We work on labs. So it's designed to be 16 weeks. Some people can finish it sooner. Some people stick around for longer. As long as they're participating in our calls, and as long as they're doing all the things necessary to get a job, we love having them around, so we keep them. So until they get the jobs they want. And then we have a pretty good network of recruiters, but we're expanding our network so that we can get our graduates' resumes directly in the hands of the hiring manager and get them placed, avoiding the HR trap where they're going to be stuck looking for like 20 years of experience and 3 Olympic gold medals. And it's not because HR aren't good people. HR are wonderful people, but they're not tech people. Because they're not tech people, they have no means to gauge your technical competency other than putting down like 12 Olympic gold medals. So did I answer your question, William, before I move on to the next one? Yeah, realistically speaking, we're trying to take people from 0 to hero. So what I know from experience is I can take 99% of the certified solution architect professionals, and they are not capable of getting hired. And the reason is they don't really understand how any of the services work. So what we're doing in our program is, yes, we take people that have no background and get them certified and then cloud trained. Sure, we do that all the time. And sometimes that's easier to take someone with no background than it is to take someone that's already passed, that took a couple of Udemy courses and passed an exam and still doesn't know anything. So I'm happy to take people from no background. It's just as easier. I'm happy to take people with a good background. The development plan changes for everybody. The length of time that they're in the program changes based upon background. But yes, that's what we do. We take them from where they're at. I don't want to use the term 0 to where they're completely hireable and they're the perfect job candidate. I based it on 16 weeks because I'm typically dealing with people that have got multiple certifications, but if they don't have the certifications, that's fine. They can do the executive coaching, the training, and the certified solution architect training and all the labs at the same time, and they're going to make a fantastic cloud architect. So, William, before I go to the next question, did I answer your question? And so perfect. So, William, I answered your question. Love to see you on our free webinar tomorrow if you can join. And if you need to reach out to me, you can always reach out to me. I'm pretty easy to find. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, connect with me else. I'll give you a call if you have any desires to learn more. And for anyone that wants to reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'm Michael Gibbs, MS, MBA, CCIE, GCP-PCA, AWS-CSA, and you can find me on LinkedIn. So, Gerald, what is the future of Cisco network engineer like CCIE, CCNP, 10 years experience in Cisco networking, really need to change to the cloud? I think that you are going to find, oh, wonderful, Gustav. So happy to hear you used our free ebook to pass the associate certification. Wonderful. And everybody that doesn't know, every Monday we have some free CSA mentoring and a free ebook. So what I'm going to do, if anybody doesn't have our book, I'd like you to get it. And if anybody would like to join our Monday CSA mentoring sessions, they are completely free. And we will do everything we can to help you pass an exam. Doesn't matter if you're your students, our students, or anywhere in between. We still want to help you. So let me just, I'll paste those things, and I'm going to ask the networking question. I'm going to answer the networking question. And I believe you're still going to have a great future in networking, but it'll be a different career, and I'm going to tell you why. So Do I think there's a future in networking? I think the answer is yes, because what is the cloud? The cloud is a network and a data center. So knowing good knowledge of networking, you will always have a job. It might just be a different job. But what happens when you move things to the cloud? You still need the network. But who builds the cloud? If you've been working in networking for 10 years, you may have been building the cloud just like me. And thank you, Gaurav. Yes, the book is enough to pass the certification, but I generally recommend a practice test. I typically go to review and prep first. I think I have a coupon for 15% off of review and prep things on our YouTube community page. We don't have any financial arrangement with them, but Hamid Sharma, their CEO, is a very, very, very good guy. We like him very much. And I trust him, so I like to send my students to Hamid, and I have a coupon on my webpage for him, but I don't get anything financially out of it. I just try and do anything I can to find resources for students. So going back to the question, will you have a job in networking? The answer is yes. Would it be good for you to get cloud certified and focus your networking on the cloud networking? Yes, I think you're going to have a lot more career options. So if you have a CCNP or a CCIE, awesome, wonderful. And then you got a certified solution architect professional. Wow, all of a sudden you're like a network guru and a cloud architect. And now that's going to be a really good career path for you. But again, for everyone else, never, ever, ever neglect the soft skills, the executive presence. They have a bigger impact on your salary and a bigger impact on your career path, your promotion than anything else, including technical competency. That's why we focus so much time on it. And you can look it up. You don't have to believe me. You can look up you can look up the statistics of emotional intelligence and career path and salary, and you will see a massive difference. Good soft skills in general add about $30,000 a year, according to the latest poll I've seen, to someone's salary. Soft skills plus emotional intelligence plus communication and collaboration skills and good leadership skills add a lot more to someone's salary. And because of that, we are so focused on these things. Because what happens in the interview? The interview is, can you do the job and can they like you? So make them love you. And that's why we focus so much on these things. So that's the way I feel about Cisco networking, Jared. I am a CCIE. My CCIE number is 7417. I could tell you how long I've been in there. I use Cisco skills every day. I will tell you that my CCIEs and CCNPs that were actually out there, and for that reason, we're in a particularly perfect position to find new cloud architect roles. So the Cisco stuff is there, but it will change. More things are going to be driven via APIs than command lines. Things will be automated with Python. But networking people like us, no matter how simplified the network solutions, are going to be there. And what I mean by that is, people think of the security solutions like the AWS firewalls and things, but every big enterprise is going to have a Palo Alto, a Cisco, a checkpoint firewall on the cloud. And people that are going to need heavy load balancers, they're not going to be using the AWS Elastic load balancers. They're going to be using an Elastic load balancer sandwich with like F5 load balancers and things. So AWS has some fantastic solutions. I don't want you to think they're not. But when you're dealing with global enterprises, and that's where CCNPs and CCIEs work, they still need all those same skills on the cloud. So just get some good cloud professional certifications and you'll be there. So Sarav Roy, you asked a question related to the book. So I will tell you, we have a Certified Solution Architect Associate ebook, and that is completely enough for you to pass the AWS Certified Solution Architect exam. What happened is we started researching all the training that was available that we found out there that for Certified Solution Architect Associate, and I could not find a course that I liked. I was so disappointed by everything that was out there, I decided to just write a book and give it away completely for free. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of our books, and I get emails constantly of people that pass the Certified Solution Architect Associate exam with nothing more than our free mentoring that we do every Monday and our free ebook. Lots of people, and every time I get it, it makes me happy. I did this because I felt like it was hard to get quality training in the industry, and I wanted to make it free. Now, I do have a Certified Solution Architect Associate program that is very comprehensive, and it's not like the rest of the courses that are out there. The rest of the courses that are out there are PowerPoint slides with audio. We invested in professional photography, videography equipment that cost as much as a new Mercedes, and we filmed everything in 4K. We dropped it down to HD. So everything's live video. I had a video editing team put graphics and notes on the slides to make it easy. And yes, we do sell that. We sell that for people that want video training options. And I believe it's the best certified solution architect program in the industry. And it is, but we still know that not everybody can actually do these things for free or pay for things. And because of that, we wanted to have a free training option available for everyone. So I want to thank you all. Do I have any more questions before I end what was a 30-minute conversation? And I have a really good webinar that I want everyone to attend tomorrow. It's really about how to get your first cloud architect job. I hope you can all attend. I will drop the link to that one more time to make sure everybody has access to it. Please, but we have one that's coming up tomorrow, and really hope you guys can join. And I always want to hear from you, so if you can leave a comment, let me know. If you have the ability to leave a like and a comment or want to subscribe to my channel, that's always appreciated. I will have another one just like this next Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you soon. But please, by all means, take advantage of my webinar tomorrow. If I missed anyone, and I don't think I did, I want to wait. Apana. I'm sorry. You see that you had one question before I close this down. CCNA cloud or CCNA routing and switching. I recommend CCNA routing and switching because I want you to know the network, and I want you to have good knowledge of this. Hello, do you know more than one certification is necessary? Bryce, the worst thing that people can do is when they can get 10 certifications or 5 different associate level certifications. The best thing someone can do, Bryce, is develop depth of knowledge. So certified solution architect professional means more than the 4 associate things that you could possibly do. So depth. Why do I keep talking about an industry? Why are my certification plans look a little interesting? And thank you so much, Sharav. I want people to go on an interview and get hired. And I know, for example, that a CCNP has 10 times the depth of an AWS Advanced Networking. I know that the CEH has 50 times more knowledge and content in it related to security than the AWS Advanced Networking or Advanced Security. So what I like to do is I like to get a cloud certification that shows you're good. And by showing that you're good, it makes me really happy. But I also want you to have the industry certifications to prove that you're capable, the AWS certifications to know that you can do these things on the cloud. The industry ones show depth of knowledge. The cloud ones show that you know how to configure these services. So, Bryce, I hope I answered your question. And I will have this again next week. I will do it at 9 a.m. right before our 10 a.m. YouTube video live launch. And I hope to see as many of you as possible there again. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you guys in the future. Please watch that YouTube video that I just released on setting up server virtualization. It is a critical skill for all cloud architects. Thank you so much, everyone, and I can't wait to see you guys soon. Take care.